And we started getting a lot of listings from that. We get 6 to 10 listings from that system every month.
So the big question is, what are the top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams, and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? If you ever thought about this, you're not alone. No one has been able to get the answers until now.
We spent the last few years helping agents sell billions in real estate, rubbing shoulders with top producers, which got us thinking, how can we expose more people to these insights to help raise the standard in the whole real estate industry? We then realized that we could help bridge the gap by getting the secrets from the best of the best so that you can succeed. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
So one thing I want to touch on actually, because there is a huge amount of time served here with regards like you said, most people are just quitting. Like, it's not easy. And you obviously kept going. You were committed to it. One thing that I think is like a tangible that you can kind of, I guess, convey is when you talk about, you're learning scripts and objection handlings. I think one of my curiosities, and I'm sure a lot of people listening, is how much were you training on those?
Yeah. So I had a coach that I was training with every week. Basically going over my numbers, going over what was working, what wasn't working. Every single week we had a half-hour call, and I had that going. And then also I was doing role play like practices in the mornings, usually from 7:30 till 8, when I would jump on the phone and start calling at 8 till 11.
Okay, so every day, 30 minutes plus once a week.
15 to 30. There's a lot of agents that you do role play with that end up canceling, morning of. So you get 15 minutes, but I try to get at least 15 minutes, if not 30 minutes of practice in before I got started every day.
Got it. So were you finding those agents in your brokerage or
Facebook groups, brokerage, referrals from my coach?
Got it. So go out, find some people, say, hey, got these awesome scripts. I really want to get better. Do you want to learn them too? Bit of horse trading there.
It's even easier than that. You can literally just go into one of the real estate groups online and just say, hey, looking for a role play partner, Eastern time or whatever time zone you're in, this day at this time. And you'll find people that are like, hey, I'm in. Super easy.
So I got a follow-up question.
Yeah.
How much time did you spend a day practicing and then calling?
Like I said, it was about half hour to 15 minutes to a half hour on the practice, and then 3 hours on the calls.
Okay. So what do you say to people that say calling doesn't work anymore? I don't
haven't done it
my
enough.
Leads because
they haven't done it enough.
We hear that all the time.
Yeah. No. And that's, a lot of people, they don't think it works. And at the same time, like maybe it doesn't work for them, right? Because they don't know what they need to know, or they're not where they need to be skills wise. I mean, there's plenty of different reasons. Maybe you're in some weird niche in the market where people don't use phones. I don't know what's going on, but I would wager the majority of the time.
The odds are it's just they're not doing the work, right?
Yeah. Typically, if somebody is not seeing results from the calls, they haven't called enough people.
Right. And that's what I was trying to get at. It's like the whole, do the work, get some scripts. I know we're going to be diving into that. Like this episode is going to be super valuable to allow people to know actually this is what you do. You start listening to this episode, get your partner to listen to the episode. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get some juicy details. So now you've moved to the big dog's office. You got a seat at the big boy table.
Yeah.
Doing all the lead generation, lead conversion at KW, right?
Yep. And well, for a team over there, but yeah.
Right. And then, so what happens now? Like, what's, I guess, the next stage?
So, the next stage was working with an ISA. I think it was like my second or third day there. They're like, hey, we need another ISA. You need to go find one and hire one. I found one, hired her, and started working with her every day. And she became one of the top ISAs in the company very quickly, actually.
I think that's even just a great stopping point again. How'd you find them?
Yeah. This person was on Upwork. I think I put an ad out, or not an ad, but a post out. And I had, 5-6 different people that had reached out and I was like, perfect. Like this one looks okay. This one looks okay. This one looks okay. Jump on Skype, interviewed all of them and decided which one I wanted to work with. So I picked her. She had a great like energy in her voice. She had a good accent. Like it wasn't a real thick accent and she was affordable as well. So started working with her. And like I say, she actually ended up working there. Like she started just after I got there when I hired her, and she worked there up until like 6 months ago or something, where she ended up launching her own ISA thing. So it's pretty awesome.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're obviously these are, I'm guessing, non-American, out of country, ISA, paid hourly for the work they do. I'm not sure if you had a bonus structure, but go up work, stuck a job ad out, looking for an ISA. It's obviously, I'm guessing back then it was almost less known than it is now. Like now it's a huge thing. Like there's obviously huge companies.
Yeah, there's a whole mess of ISA opportunities, and I think that it's still tough to, if you understand what you're doing, to go out and hire somebody else to find your ISA or anything like that. Like I know there are people that can do it, but like if you know what you're doing, if you understand the market, if you understand the calling, the process, all of that, finding your own ISA, somebody that you can work with and train with, because that's really what you need to do. Is you need to be working with them, helping them improve every day, and making sure they're getting results, right? And I think a lot of people can just go do that. You've got outbounders.com, super awesome. Like outbounders.com, you can go there and play demos of their voice. So you can listen to them tell you why they'd be a good candidate before you ever even interview them. So if you're worried about having a thick accent or anything like that, you can rule that out right off the bat. You can see how much experience they have. A lot of times over there, they're going to have BPO experience. But when I say over there, I typically was hiring from the Philippines. So a lot of times they had BPO experience or call center experience. I want to say AT&T was a big one. Best Buy was another one. Like there's a bunch of like major corporations that have call centers over there. And so you can find people that were like team managers, team captains over there. And, you know, they're happy to work for you for $5, $8, $12 an hour, stuff like that. And I was always also very fair on the wages. I know a lot of people try to get people for $1, $2. And it's like, you know, with $1, $2, like you run into cheap problems, right? Like you run into issues where internet's going out. They don't make it to work because, you know, there was a wolf in the village, like crazy things that actually occur, right? Like I had hired somebody from Mexico one time and he was a great caller, doing awesome. And all of a sudden he's gone. I'm like, what is going on? And he sends me a message from like another Skype name. He's like, hey, this is my friend's name. I'm just shooting you a message. I'm going to be gone for 2 to 3 weeks. The cartel was in our village and we had to evacuate. And I'm like, okay.
Jesus. Wow.
Like, okay.
You would have thought that you heard just about everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, well, that is wild. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're fired, right? Like, this guy's been awesome all the time. He's almost always on time, doesn't show up late. You know, he's there, great attendance, whatever you want to say, and does a great job. And so all of a sudden to have him just gone, like one of your top callers, it's like, whoa, that's scary. And so, yeah, I think it's important to be able to hire people quickly and find people on your own because you don't know when that's going to happen. I've had other people that like their internet would go out and they're like, I don't know what I can do. You know, I'll let you know when it's back up. I had one person, their internet went out. She's like, give me an hour. I'm just going to walk up the mountain. I'm like, what? She's like got a Wi-Fi thing in her laptop and she's literally walking up a mountain to get service. And yeah, she was awesome. I think she was still there when I left, probably still there now, but she was paid well and did a great job. So yeah, I know it's a little tangent there, but yeah, one thing, you kind of get what you pay for, right?
So people who've now got their ISA, so you've now got your first ISA or second ISA on your second day of the job, and now you get given the impending task of growing a 30-person plus team.
Yeah, so basically it was getting them going on the expireds and FSBOs and really nailing that down. And then we wanted to mimic another service that's out there that basically what they do is they will cold call an area where like they'll just blast an area and they'll cold call a whole 10 mile, 15, 25 mile radius, whatever it is, like literally everybody in there, and they'll call them every 60 to 90 days, whatever it is. But obviously that takes like a lot of people. And so with that, then we started building that process out. And so we had to go get a new dialer. We ended up using 5.9 for that. Most of our expireds for FSBO people were using Mojo or Vulcan 7. Or we'd get the data from Vulcan 7, we'd move it over to Mojo for the dialing, right? But then with 5.9 being a whole new system, like I had to go learn that. And then I had a VA that was really skilled with all the data management and stuff like that. So she could help me out a lot with that. And we started putting together a team, basically going out 5 people at a time, trying to get 5 people to be ISAs. And so hiring them, getting them on, training them. We created, a little onboarding system, some videos to show them what they need to do, call examples so they could listen to successful calls, know what those looked like, and call recordings, I guess that was call examples, like all of that stuff so that we could help them improve as quickly as possible. And so they'd go from, calling wherever they were calling previously to learning how to do this and running this script and doing it, within 3 to 5 days, they're on the phones. And so from there, then we'd track them over the next 30, 60, 90 days, see how they're improving, speaking to them one-on-one, speak to them in group settings, trying to help them all improve, and just trying to really train up an ISA team that was going to be able to go out and find listings for our team. So we did that. And then we had an inside ISA team that was all in the office. And so at the same time as I'm training all of these people, now I'm training the people here to do better. So I started appointing like team leaders inside of the outbound sales team and having them do some of the training and working with people, and was focusing on the inside sales team. And then what I ended up doing at the end there was having the outside sales team transfer anybody who was interested in potentially selling right over to an inside salesperson in the office, right? And so at that point, we actually didn't need to train them as far along in the process, because we just had to train them to find people who were interested and say, awesome, I have an agent right here who'd love to speak to you. Boom, live transfer. Agent picks up the phone. We had one phone that was literally like the red phone. And if that rang, somebody answered it, right? So that was what we did. And
boiler room style.
Boiler room, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
This phone never rings more than twice.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. So, but yeah, it was exciting. It was fun. And we started getting a lot of listings from that. We get 6 to 10 listings from that system every month.
So I think, Matt, like the secret sauce is not the secret sauce, but I think the depth of what you're talking about is you've got a lot of experience, not only training the ISA team, but also training the team leaders, training people in the office. So whether it's a brand new agent, a team leader, a seasoned veteran, implement or do today from your script to start converting leads? Because these aren't just internet leads. These aren't just, FSBO's expires. These are any type of a lead. You just tweak the script a little bit, right?
Yeah. And I mean, without getting into any specific script, because I mean, most of them follow the basic outline of LP Mama, location, price point, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment, right? Just nail those things. Do they have them or no? And can you set the appointment? But most scripts generally follow that outline. But really there's, you kind of asked me to put 3 things together. So I put like 3 things that were like for lead conversion, and it broke it down to the contact, like really like getting in touch with the person. Like that's your first hurdle, is you have to reach them. And then from there, you have to qualify them. And then from there, you have to close them. So in order to make contact with them, you have to have a good response time. You have to have multiple response methods. You have to make multiple attempts on each of those methods. So if somebody comes in, they're interested, you call them once, like they don't answer, a lot of people will be like, oh, bummer. They move on, right? You've got to call them. How many times
would you call them? What would that follow-up process look like? Like, what would you recommend at the bare minimum?
Yeah. So in the beginning, like a brand new lead comes in, You're going to call them once. They don't answer. You're going to call them back again, because sometimes people, they screen that first call. They're like, I don't know this number. Should I answer it? But if it calls back again, it's like, oh, it must be urgent, right? Or, yeah, I don't know what the or was, but anyways. So you call once, you call twice. If they still don't answer, then you're going to take a break. You're going to shoot the email out, shoot the text out. And a lot of this stuff is going to be automated in your system, your CRM nowadays. But you got an email going out, you got a text message going out, trying to get them to respond. And I tell people with the emails and the text, don't try to just overload them with knowledge, right? Just try and get them to respond. That's what we want. We want to make contact. We want to get into conversation. Otherwise, you're just throwing out all this info and knowledge to these people. And like, it may be fake information. And this Sam dude down the road who's getting a random email from a real estate agent now has a bad taste in his mouth, because he's like, why does this guy keep sending me this stuff? Because somebody put in a fake email that they thought would be funny. So yeah, I would say focus on those first couple calls. They don't answer, text, email. If they still don't answer, then you can also look at like, where did they come in from? If they came in from Facebook, you could add them on Facebook. You could shoot them a message on Facebook or Instagram. If they came in on Instagram, you could shoot them a message on Instagram. There's a lot of different ways to get in touch with people, and it's just kind of being creative about doing it. The first day, you're probably not going to call more than 5 to 7 times. And that's kind of going to depend on where you're at, right? If you're in a super metro area like New York, you call somebody 7 times, like they're still probably going to miss it. If you're out in the middle of Iowa and you call somebody 7 times, they're probably going to call the police. They're going to be like, this guy's harassing me. Like, what is going on? So you kind of have to think about where you're at and like, what is the pace of the environment that you're in, and go from there. But basically, call and tell people to start yelling at you, and then back it off 1 or 2.
Ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Yeah. Once you find the limit, and then just back it off a hair. That's what you want to do.
That's awesome. How are you going about finding the contacts? So again, agent wants to find these people. Where would you recommend they go?
So in which aspect, like with expireds for sale by owners, or are we talking about like internet leads, like Facebook, Google, stuff like that?
All of them. Let's just reel them off quick fire.
Yeah. So I mean, expireds for sale by owners, I stand by Vulcan 7. I still think they have the best system in the game right now. If you're looking for cold calling information, Cole Realty Resource was always the best result for us. I know Mojo Neighborhood Search has some pretty good data. And then after that, yeah, I mean, those are pretty much your basic ones that are not going to cost you an arm and a leg. After that, you almost have to get into government database stuff, which means you need certain, I don't know what they call it, but certain like criteria or
access.
Yeah, you need certain access. And I've talked to people who've been able to get that, and they've come real close to getting in trouble, because certain times, depending on how you get that data, you're not supposed to use it for telemarketing or whatnot. So be careful about how you get it. But Vulcan 7 is going to be your best bet off the bat for expireds for FSBOs, Cole for local neighborhood stuff. And then for like, let's say you get a Facebook lead, you get a name and address, stuff like that. 411.net is usually what we would use to reverse address search and get somebody's phone number if they didn't provide it or gave us a fake one. And then otherwise, hopefully they gave you the real information in the lead form.
Nice. Those are some great actionable tactics. I didn't know about a couple of them actually.
Yeah.
70411. So they're really interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part in the beginning, is making contact. Like, a lot of people are worried about memorizing scripts, and they haven't figured out how to get in touch with people yet.
Right. So step 1 completed. We got Vulcan 7. We got our lead form. So roll into step 2. How these agents going to do it?
So step 2 is going to be qualify them, right? You need to figure out the LP mama. Where are they looking to buy? What is their price point? What is their motivation? And that's probably the biggest one. Like, do they have an actual motivation, a real desire to make a move, right? Are they ready, willing, and able? So a lot of people are ready to move when the right home comes along, and you can spend so much time following up with leads like that. And they're just not really a ready to go person when they say, when the right one comes along. I mean, occasionally you'll get somebody who says that and then they buy a house in the next 3 weeks. But I would say the vast majority, when they say, we're just waiting for the right house to pop up, like, they're probably not there yet, right? And a lot of times it's a reason that they don't want to get pre-approved yet. They're like, well, when we see the right house, we'll talk to a lender. When we see the right house, we'll get a letter of proof of funds letter, right? Something like that. And so it's kind of like an excuse. So you really want to make sure like there's a reason they're moving. Like, well, why is it that you're trying to move? Well, we're moving to Florida. We've decided that because I picked up a new job in Orlando. And right now, obviously, I can't get there from Michigan. So we've got to get to Orlando. We want to do it before school starts. Otherwise, my daughter's going to have to switch school halfway through the year. It's like, okay, there's some motivation, right? Now we have something to talk about, right? We have a time frame. We have all sorts of stuff based off having a real motivation. Somebody says, well, we just want to, capitalize on the interest rates right now. Maybe that could work. Maybe somebody says they want to take their equity so that they can start their own business, something like that. Make sure they don't start it before they close on the new house. But yeah, there's different things that you can find about people, and then start to just connect with them in that and figure out if it's real. And if it's real motivation, then you can help them. If they don't have real motivation to move, it's somebody that you probably want to put into a drip or a longer term follow-up that's not taking your highest priority focus.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. Now, before you go, we're giving access to a private training we did where we revealed the top 3 niches to get listings today completely for free. So if you want access, you can go and download that training at eliteagentsecrets.com. We're regularly releasing new trainings, guides, and cheat sheets, so make sure to head over to eliteagentsecrets.com and sign up so you don't miss out.